Hello everybody, welcome to the final week of the NPA 12 regular season. Today I'm joined by Izzy.
Hey everyone, what's
and
up?
We are going to cast 2 games today. And these games might matter actually for the playoffs run, because I don't know Symbion's situation in the current week, since Oriol Plaza was scheduled for yesterday, but he didn't upload the results on the doc yet, I think. So the current situation of Symbions is the following: 4-1 for the detectives. Actually 4-2 since the Saxlot won, and if Oriol Plaza won, they are 4-3. And the match that we're going to see for Chitshot matters for detectives, since Symbionts are automatically out, I think. And if detectives win, they can achieve the playoff spot. So if anyone here knows if Oriol Plaza played, that would be great to know, since we are on Monday. But yeah, we are going to enjoy that match anyways. And the other one is Hypometapod against TechnoZ. So European match against, let's say, American match, but not exactly, since Jay, I don't think he's in America. Do you know if he's in America right now?
He might be in China actually.
Okay.
Potentially, just because he hasn't seen him go to any of the regionals.
Oh yeah,
It's
you're right.
that, or he has been super busy with that. But I think I heard that he was going back to,
he's in
China. Yeah.
He's in China. Okay. So let's jump into the first 2 players to introduce, and they're actually the opposite order than I listed them. So Hypometapod, you want to talk about this guy a little bit?
Yeah, so Metapa is one of the up-and-coming Chinese players that pop off pretty hard last year. It's our 2022 Milwaukee champion. Also got NIC top 8, and then in the London Open top 64. So very well known. He also was in the BR World Cup. Really good player. He, I believe, was undefeated for the longest time in his team too. So really, it's been impressive. There's always one Chinese player that is doing super well in Monarchs. Last year was Tang. This year's Metapub. So they always have that one person, and it's really cool to see. Just keeping this dream alive for Monarchs, because it's been a rough season for them. But they actually made it. They actually beat Crown last week, I believe, or 2 weeks ago. But it secured their no relegation spot. So good job.
Yeah, well, post-week actually are currently at 8 points, and they're down 4-3 in this week. So if TechnoZ doesn't win this week, actually United get the relegation. So it's very important for United to win this one match to not be out of the NPA. And TechnoZ, actually, I think I thought he was a pretty recent player, let's say, but I checked his sign-up form, and he actually has been playing since 2010, 2011, I don't know. And turns out that I'm just too young to know that. And
it's okay. He started in seniors, by the way. He started very young. He's from way back.
Yeah, and he won a regional in 2013, and at this point I don't know if he was senior or masters already. So yeah, let's just say he won Salt Lake City regional championship in 2013, and then these years in 2022 and 2023, he's coming back, and he got 2 top 16s at regionals last season, as well as a top 64 at NAAC. And this year, recently, I think a month ago, he got a finals in the Vancouver regional against Sempra, I believe. And Sempra turned out to win that finals. But let's see if they have cooked well for us today. So let's jump into the team preview. And this is not what you want to see, though. So I'm just going to fix it very, very quickly. Okay, we're here. And this is the team preview, looking interesting, since we have a Dondozo for Techno-Z.
Yeah, I mean, Techno-Z has been actually bringing the Dondozo the entire series 1, 2, and 3. He actually just been running this specially set like the Sylveon and Glimora combo for a while too. So it's pretty much his series 2 team, but with a Wachian instead. I believe the last iteration I remember from him, he had Cerulege.
Yeah.
Just to help him out. So pretty cool. He's been consistent with it. The same thing with just minor modifications. And pretty much like he's working. Like he tried changing using different teams the first 2 weeks of NPA, but like then he stick to Dondozo, and it's been working really well for him.
Yeah, and for Regulation C, he has adapted with a Wachian as final slot, so he's opting for maybe some stall stuff for the late game, maybe wanting to clean up with Dondozo in the early game and ending with Wachian in the back. And Glimora and Dondozo are the choice for Techno-Z, while Goldango, Markro, a lead that we have seen very, very often in Season 1 being brought up by Metapod.
Yeah, this is just such a Series 1 like lead from Metapod, because if you guys knew, like you usually potentially expects Terra Steel, Tailwind, and then the next turn you haste yourself.
Yep.
So then you don't have to spread. So very classic like hyper offense type of deal. We can already see a couple of the moves. There's an I. Okay, that's an icy win. So it doesn't look like there's haste though. At least didn't see the normal. But the Glimora and Dondozo is kind of interesting from Technos. I don't know if it's the best lead right now, but I mean Tatsugiri could just come in and you potentially just go for an EQ if they have it.
Yeah, and Goldango, as you announced, he's going for the Terra Steel to deal as much damage as he can in this turn 1. And I trust you on the Ice Wind. I'm not that fluent in Chinese, so I don't know if that's Haze or Ice Wind. And Glimora here, Terra's with the water typing to resist that Make It Rain. And if it carries an Assault Vest, it's going to take it pretty well, actually. Let's see if it's the case of the item choice for Glimora. Tailwind coming out from Markro. And yeah, Make It Rain, Steel move. So I think it's going to be, yeah, Make It Rain, dealing actually less damage than I thought. So maybe it is not carrying a choice packs. But Power Gem probably doubling up into the Markro here with a solid damage by Glimora, followed by, Order Up. So, okay, Markro hangs on, and this might indicate that Dondozo does not carry Wave Crash.
Yeah, I think this is really, really good for Metapod, like just keeping it the Mercury alive another turn. But see, there's no haste happening. You're locking to the specs now. So kind of interesting that this actually ended up happening. And based on the damage too, might be an AV Glimora too. Like that didn't do a lot.
Yeah, did like kind of nothing compared to what I was expecting. And Dondozo being very, very bulky, I was expecting it to maybe take less damage than Glimora if Glimora didn't have an AV, so I expected Glimora to carry an Assault Vest.
Yeah, and then we see the swap up from Metapod and bringing Chien Pao. I don't know how I feel about this. Like, it seems tricky. Maybe just saving the Merker to sack it for next turn, since you're gonna be a -2 now right now on this Goldango.
Yeah, and Dondozo kind of does not, like, Goldango does not care about his drop when it comes down to that Dondozo, since you are abusing the opposing unaware, and your damage is going to be the same every turn as long as the Tatsugiri does not come in. And Mortal Spin coming out for that Glimora took the poison on the Chien Pao switch in. So Chien Pao pretty safe here onto a Mortal Spin and not a Power Gem nor an Order Up. So Dondozo setting up that substitute might be a threat for Hypo Metapod in the next turns.
I actually forgot about Dondozo. Unaware. Oh, stream is paused.
Oh, okay. You're here?
Yeah, I'm here,
okay.
But like my video is not working.
Okay.
But yeah, I actually
you're here.
Oh, that's working now. Okay, it's working again. Yeah, I did forget momentarily about the Dondozo part, but it looks like the Tatsugiri is probably coming in. Oh no, it's a Wachian.
Wachian, okay. And Wachian kind of nerfing that attack of Chien Pao But, ooh, okay. And it came in to take a throat chop, I think. And that's not a move that we see that often on Xianpao. You usually go for a Sucker Punch for your Dark type move. And Earthquake here, dealing pretty much nothing to his own Wo Chen, and a little bit of damage onto that Xianpao. And Dragonite here coming in for free.
Yeah,
and I think it clears the choice band.
Yeah, I really like the fact that pretty much you got the swap for free, and you can just try breaking this up at this point. Like, I believe there's only maybe, unless it disappear, because it's a little harsh with the language difference.
Yeah.
Tailwind turns should be ending pretty soon.
Yeah, should be in this turn.
It's looking pretty favorable for Metapod right now.
Yeah, Metapod here bringing his offensive core on the field, and that Wo Chen nerfs Dragonites and Xianpao's attacks, but I don't think it's going to matter since both of these mons have a really high attack stat. And Frog Chop is going to break that Dondozo substitute. And let's see if Dragonite went for a follow-up. Yeah, and that is Aerial Ace.
1 KO. Yeah, I think that's Aerial Ace.
So
yeah, that's another mono. Yeah.
Let's see how Technizy is going to maybe try and bring this back, since Dondozo dying without having brought Tatsugiri on the field is probably not a thing that you want to see if you're playing Dondozo, and especially against these offensive mons. And Wo Chen is not going to be enough, since he takes super effective damage from both of the Pokemon that is facing. And Tatsugiri is here in the back, so let's see if it's carrying a Choice Scarf, because he might bring some work on this in this situation.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting, right? There's been a lot of actually people that sometimes you don't actually bring the Tatsugiri, you just bring this Dondozo, and it's just naturally so bulky. And unless we misread it, it's like it's just very strange that we didn't see the swap to Tatsugiri sooner from Techno. So now it's not a bit awkward. It's still looking pretty favorable for Techno right now, especially if like you just Sucker Punch the Tatsugiri spawn.
Yeah, Tatsugiri should not be able to take this double up, okay? And I'm quite sure that Wo Chen went for a double protect and failed. And this double with 2 priorities, I think it was Sucker Punch. So extreme speed and Sucker Punch going to pick the KO on Tatsugiri. And yeah, Wo Chen does not go for any attack, so he went for a double protect that failed. So wrong call here by Technoz going to protect that slot. But yeah, I think this game is pretty closed and won by Metapod.
Yeah, I really don't see how it's possible for Techno to even bring it back.
Yeah, and I have to wonder how Technoz is going to adapt for a game 2. Maybe he will bring Flower Mane to have more offensive presence from the start of the game, since Dondozo and Glimora with Wo Chen do not really have any offensive option. You just want to stall and win by Poison and Leech Seed, and maybe heal yourself with Pollen Puff, but that was not the case for this game. And Wo Chen is, I think, Pinchberry, not Leftovers, since Dondozo has them, and not Citrus Berry. So pretty interesting choice here. And that's the forfeit, yeah. So 1-0 is the score for this match for Hippometapod. Pretty convincing performance in this game 1. So yeah, let's see how he can adapt for this game 2. What would you do?
I think Techno needs to be more aggressive. Metapod was just pressing buttons, like, Tailwind, Make It Rain, then preserving the Murkrow. Because I said, I'm not sure if it's Icy Wind or Haze. I feel like it should be Haze the way that Technos was playing. So maybe it was. And even that, so it was really good. And I think Technos was just kind of scared about the Murkrows coming and hazing him, which that makes sense. But like I think you gotta go brr, 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 a little if your opponent is just going that way too.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to see a little bit more aggression. Oh, it's that, or you just don't bring the Dondozo, because there are, when you face like a Hazemon, you don't necessarily bring the Dondozo, and I do think Technos has it would be nice to come to Flutter. Especially you slightly wall the Dragonite. Just gotta be careful about the Qianpao. And you have tools for the Qianpao too. And then Sylveon is naturally pretty bulky, so I don't think you need the Dondoso. If he brings it, I mean, if anyone is the Dondoso master, is Techno. China is easily one of the top 3 best Dondoso users in NA, especially. So maybe I something like that. But yeah, you think he should be doing a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, but same lead for Techno-Z in this game too, and same lead for Metapod. So Metapod is confident about his plan, and maybe Techno-Z has some adjustments that he wants to go for this game too. And we saw Metapod clicking Haze. I think it was a like field effect move, so that should be Haze. And he's predicting the Tatsugiri coming in. And I just want to point out a thing. Do you all see that Metapod on the bottom right corner of the screen, or am I just crazy?
Oh yeah,
okay.
I didn't want to comment. Yeah, it's been there, like, jiggling, staring at us. So
I just noticed. So yeah, it's just uncanny. It's watching us. And
it's
okay, in this turn, Hayes going into nothing since Dondozo went for protect, and he protected himself from that. I think Shadow Ball. No, Thunderbolt. Okay, was the choice for this Goldengo, and Glimora going for a power gem, just dealt that chunk of damage to Markro that is switching out right now.
Yeah, very, very well done about Technos, I'm going to protect Dondoso because I didn't protect last turn, so maybe you will think I will do stuff. And in general, that was really good turn 1 in favor of Technos, and Metapod trying to punish in case something happens. So I still like play from both players, and it rewarded just Technos a little bit more.
Yeah, and we did not see a Terra type for the Glimora, so it was kind of confident in the fact that there wasn't going to be a Make It Rain in this turn. And right now, Mortal Spin is going to poison that Qianpao, and Thunderbolt did nearly nothing to Wachian.
Yeah, so this is looking really, really well, because right now you could even ignore the Specs Goldengo. It's locking Thunderbolt. It's not gonna KO either of your Pokemons. If you can try to get rid and force the Mercury to come in, it will be a very, very good spot for Technos, and Metapod knows it. Like, he's like, I need to swap off.
Yeah, and it's not like this Goldengo has any safe switches, I think, since Dragonite might come into a Power Gem if Techno-Z went for a prediction in this turn. And here, Qianpao going for Sucker Punch, I think. I don't know. Dark move onto Glimora, doing a nice damage, but Power Gem Revenge kills onto that Qianpao for a one-hit knockout, thanks to that Mortal Spin that broke the Focus Sash in the previous turn. And Dragonite is coming in onto this Leech Seed, and I think it is multi-scale. So in this case, Leech Seed is very important to break that multi-scale and let Dragonite be more vulnerable.
Yeah, now you're getting back into a corner. The Doso Tatsugiri is safely in the back, and all Technos has to do is try get one more KO on something. And now, Glimora took enough damage, so even if you Terra it, you're forced to Terra it to even survive this Make It Rain probably. And even then, Metapod could just double it. So are you gonna sacrifice the Glimora in this turn just to keep the Leech Seed? And it's just comes to your read, and it looks like Metapod's like, you're not keeping your Glimora there, so I'm gonna swap off.
Yeah, but you have to be aware that if the Goldengo goes for Make It Rain and KOs the Glimora, then Tatsugiri kinda comes on the field for free. So he has to be aware of that and switches out that Dragonite to bring in that Markro with only 63 HP left. But let's see if they're going to be enough to win this game too. And Goldengo going for the Terra Steel in this game too as well. So same Terra type, same Mon for Metapod. And Make It Rain should be going to take the KO on that Glimora despite the Assault Vest. And no, because that Glimora is going for a Terra type as well. I think it's not the Wachian. Yeah, it's not. Glimora going for the same Terra type, so for both players. Terra Water on that Glimora, going to take this Make It Rain pretty well. And
yeah, I like
yeah.
that. It was a pretty, no way to risk it. If you want to keep your Grimora, you know how much that Make It Rain specs is gonna do. So if the power gem went to the Murkrow, which, yep.
And this seals up the game.
Yeah, they pretty much seals up the game because the Goldengo is just gonna be chilling, and the Pollen Puff just to keep the Glimora healthy. Very, very well done by TechnoZ.
Yeah, and this Pollen Puff really, really solid to keep that Glimora in a good amount of health. And yeah, Metapod is going for the forfeit in this game. And we are going to game 3. So I like how TechnoZ just didn't bring any different mon than game 1. And he just won by playing it different.
Yeah, no, I do think he was a little bit more aggressive, or at least didn't use his Terra right away. He called out, "Hey, you're not gonna do this." So I really like that, and I mean, I do think the initial, I like I said, I was like, maybe you don't need the Dondoso. He technically didn't need the Dondoso. He wanted Witch out it, but I'm pretty sure Dondoso Tatsugiri was in the back for him. And Metapod was like, yeah, I'm not winning this at this point.
Yeah, he lost that Murkrow, so no haze on the field, and like no chance to negate that commander boost, and he was just done for that game. But let's see who's going to take this match. And once again, this is very important for United to not be like eliminated from the next NPA season. And once again for Metapod, we have the same lead and Dragonite in the back.
I don't know if that's the right lead. You won the Murkrow. Absolutely, you won the Murkrow. You want to be threatening him, but what about if it was Garchomp instead of Goldengo? It's just I don't like you being locked on the one move, and I think Techno's abused the knowledge that you're gonna lock into one thing. And if you lock into the wrong thing, I am gonna win.
Yeah, and that's kind of what happened in the turn 1 of game 2. But yeah, once again, we see the same leads for both players. And at this point, they both know what the winning position is for each other. And we have seen a curious thing. Murkrow is Terra Grass, I think. And that's not something I would expect if the maybe lists were closed. But that's not the case. We're open team sheets. We just don't know them for the thrill of the casting. And Murkrow once again went for Haze, I think. And this time, yeah, he's not going for a Thunderbolt since it didn't pay off in game 2. But he's thinking about it, yeah. I think that's kind of important. To not end up as it was in game 2.
Yeah, no, this is still tricky for if Technos decide to just go for the same turn that he did last time. You're breaking at least the multi-scale from the Dragonite. But it looks like wait, is that?
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
Okay, it is Goldengo Terra, so it's whenever the Glimora also Terra, because if the Glimora decided just to take it this time again, that's gonna hurt.
Ooh, and there is the Terra type for TechnoZ, and probably is going to be the Glimora. Yeah, it is. So, same Terras for all 3 of these games, and that kind of makes sense, actually. So, Glimora is going to take this Make It Rain pretty well. Dondozo going for Protect, so Protect coming out also in this game 3 for that Dondozo on turn 1. And Goldengo, yeah, Make It Rain is going to crash onto that Protect and deal very, very little damage onto that Glimora. I'm kind of interested in what that Glimora did if he went for a Mortal Spin or a Power Gem. Yeah, Power Gem is the choice, and this is a... Okay, no, I didn't think it would have been that little damage, but yeah, that's still some kind of damage.
Well, it's multi-scale.
Yeah, and so it's a Soul Vest.
Yeah, so it's a little unfortunate though, because I mean you could just keep spamming Make It Rain because you will still do damage to the Dondozo. But you have to be very careful because Metapod is going for the the swap. But hopefully it doesn't get read by the Glimora, because then it will turn down. But this looks almost very similar to game one again.
Yeah.
Just slightly minor changes from that it's helping both, like keeping this very, very different.
Yeah, they're playing it kind of slower than how game one was. And here, Aerial Ace didn't do that much damage. And Order Up, okay, takes the KO on that Dragonite. I wasn't sure, since Order Up without boost just does not deal damage. And yeah, that kind of makes sense, since Wave Crash is 120 with stab, and you're usually going to see that. So Order Up deals way less damage. But yeah, Power Gem plus Order Up was more than enough, and there is 1 KO for Techno Z.
Yeah, and I mean, do you bring... You know, if you double up the marker, it doesn't KO.
Yeah.
Although, actually, I don't know if I saw the... Oh, yeah, no, there's no boost. So, we're seeing... Okay.
Another Wuchen once again.
Okay, I almost thought it was maybe Tatsugiri coming in, but I like the Wuchen bringing in. It just looks like, again, like G1, because this swap actually happened in G1 too.
Yeah, and this time Thunderbolt comes onto that Wuchen, and isn't it like the same move, like Wuchen on the field and substitute for Dondozo?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have already seen this turn. And Dondozo is looking pretty solid right now, since Wuchen here can just go for, I think, some kind of move into that macro, and Dondozo is free to protect this turn.
Yeah, and once again, like, Techno is positioning himself, keeping, like, Metapop, just thinking, it's like, should I do this, should I do the other thing? Like, I've really been enjoying, like, how the back and forth going, and it's just tiny little things, whichever gets it right, it works better for them.
Yeah, and Dondozo going for that protect, pretty safe, nothing can threaten that Wuchen. Even if I think Markro has Brave Bird, I'm quite sure, since he has 2 flying types, and that's Brave Bird, yeah. But, ooh!
Whoa, that's a lot of damage!
What the hell is that damage? I was saying, I don't think it's going to deal that much damage to Wuchen, but kind of one-shot it. So, I don't know. I don't know, Markro has probably 130 attack, and we don't know it. And Lich Seed,
that was so terrible.
Yeah, Lich Seed going to maybe restore Wuchen's health a little bit, but that Brave Bird, whoa, a lot of damage.
Yeah, and I mean, I think if you double, the Wuchen goes down here.
Yeah, and Techno Z knows that, so wisely going for that protect. But Thunderbolt is coming out onto that Dondozo once again, not going to protect this turn, since he protected the previous one. And let's see if Markro went for Brave Bird in that slot, but no. Brave Bird would it gotten the KO maybe on Wuchen in this turn? I'm not sure about that damage. I'm just concerned by that number, because it was a lot. I'm not sure how much it was. It was a lot. And leftovers plus Leech Seed, we're going to see some recovery for Techno Z in this turn. And he still cannot bring Tatsugiri on the field, since there is that haze threat.
It's tricky. It comes to your read now.
Yeah.
Because you could bring Tatsugiri and you could haste. And I think that's what, Metaport is saying you're gonna do it this time.
For but the third time.
If he gets it, and if he gets it wrong, then, like, it's gonna be over. Like, it's really tricky, because normally this is when it's not a bad time to do it. Like, you know, bring it the Tatsugiri, because then the Order Up cool KO the Merker now, but okay.
Yeah, so no Tatsugiri, and Dondozo protects instead to keep himself healthy for Tatsugiri coming in the next turns. And double up onto that Wuchen with Brave Bird. That dealt a lot of damage before, and it deals a lot of damage in this turn as well. So Wuchen goes down, and there is not going to be Leech Seed in this turn, but Markro goes down to very, very low amount of HP thanks to that recoil and to that HP stat for Woqian. So let's see if here that Gilmora is going to be enough, since the Terra has already been used. And I think Thunderbolt does not KO Dondozo, but it deals a lot of damage. And that's not a damage that you want to take if you're Techno-Z.
Yeah, so now it's a little tricky. It's like, do you preserve? Yeah, it looks like Metapod wants to preserve the Murkrow. I think that's a pretty wise choice, because otherwise Murkrow's probably potentially dying to an order up. And again, I'm stressing a little just watching. It's like, Techno, are you gonna bring the Tatsu this time?
He just doesn't have it in the back. He's going to bring in that Flutter Mane.
Oh my god! If that's the case, it will be so like ballsy of Techno's, like top tier play right there. Because right now I'm stressing. Thinking, it's like, when are you bringing that freaking Tatsugiri?
And it's right now. Let's see. And that's Tatsugiri, so no haze in this turn, and that Dondozo has probably opted for an Earthquake that deals a lot of damage since there is the Sword of Ruin on the field, and Gholdengo might just go down to this Earthquake at +2. So let's see. I think that's the move of choice for Techno-Z, and Thunderbolt is still going faster.
Well, I'm so confused. What?
Yeah,
that's a fast Gholdengo. That Gholdengo is going down.
And it is going down. Yeah. But there was no Tailwind, right?
Right. There was no Tailwind.
And okay, I'm just confused. I just don't know. That Dondozo is a very bulky variant. I think recently we have seen a lot of fast Dondozos, and this is not the case, since he was slower than Gholdengo with no Tailwind and at +2 with Commander.
Yeah, but I mean, unfortunately that is not gonna be enough. Like this is not not gonna pick it, and you could just order up. Yep.
Yeah, you could have gone for any move actually. Order up into that slot that cannot protect is the safest option, obviously. And it was Throat Chop on Dondozo with no boosts, and that's concerning. Like, is that impish Dondozo? I don't know. I don't know, but congratulations to Techno-Z for saving United from relegation. Yeah, United are safe for this season, and we are going to see them in the next season as well, I would say. So Monarchs were already safe from relegation, and this just brings them to 11 points, and United to 10. I think it was 9 and 8. That is correct. Yep. And for the next match, we have to, I need to know if Oreo Plaza played, but great managing here of that Tatsugiri in the back, knowing that he doesn't need to bring in Tatsugiri with, he doesn't have to be in a hurry to bring Tatsugiri on the field. He just can play calmly, and he knows that if Dondozo is not kill threatened by the opponent, you don't have to bring the Tatsugiri, because you don't need the boost. And you just stole with Woqian, since Gholdengo was locked on Thunderbolt. So very, very nice use of his stalling, I would say, options for Techno-Z. And it was sad to see Metapod lose, because I'm a fan of offensive teams. And yeah, he was not able to bring it home, unfortunately. But yeah, we're happy to see United winning. I mean, we got reminded, if we all remember, when everyone's in the Murkrow hype, it was oh, Murkrow is a solution to Dondozo. Technos was nope. Murkrow is not. I mean, we learned pretty soon too that Murkrow is not really the solution, and Technos just showcased it so beautifully. I was just damn. That's very, so well played. Very nice repositioning and use of that bulk that he brought into this match. But the next match, I mean, it features two players that like to play some cool teams. I mean, Mirai usually plays offensive stuff, maybe balanced offensive, and Chitshot, you cannot predict what he's going to play. He might just bring Garganical and Wochen, or he could bring Murkrow with Sunny Day and Floramain, Great Tusk, and Chiyu. So let's see what they opted for in this week. And let's introduce the players a bit. Chitshot, he's an Italian player. He came out with, I think, Sword and Shield. Like, he was known in Italy previously to Sword and Shield, but he kind of got the results in that game since he got top 8 in the Globals Finals of Players Cup 3, and he won the NPA 10th season. So that's kind of his best game, Sword and Shield, right now. But Liverpool top 8, this is in Scarlet and Violet, so you have to be aware of this guy in these games as well, since he also won 2 locals that were held in Rome. One was in Series 1, I think in the first week of December, and the other one was 2 weeks ago. So pretty fresh win for him. And both of these players are attending London, I think. So I'm not sure about Mirai, but yeah, Chitshot, he's definitely going to London. And we have to keep an eye on these 2 players, since Mirai came out with the London top 16 and London Open this year, and top 16, I was wrong, top 64 at London and top 16 at Bochum this year with, I think, 10-4 score, or 11-3. That's the score you could have gotten.
He bubble on Bochum.
Yeah, he was the bubble.
Yeah, he was the unfortunate bubble. But I can confirm, I'm 90% sure that Mirai actually is going to be going to EOIC, because he was crying about needing a team.
Yeah, I mean, who isn't?
That is also true. Who is now crying for a team?
Like, if anyone in chat has a team, please just paste it right now, because I don't know what to do. I'm talking to some people and I'm like, what are you playing? This 6. Okay. Yo, that's cool. I will play some games on Showdown. Then I go for like 2 games, and that team like sucks in my hands. So okay, yeah, thank you for the paste. And this is going to be troll. Yeah, okay, it's BGC 2017 paste. Thank you, Domenico. And yeah, but it's going to be interesting, since this IC, like the UAC, I think, is going to showcase some teams that we haven't seen, maybe some comps, or I might just be wrong and we will see the same balanced offensive teams with Polyphane and Tinglu, and that would be boring though. So I'm hoping for someone to build some spicy stuff that we can all eat, so like cook well for us. But let's jump into the game. And no, okay, they did not cook for this game. No.
Wow, this is the okay. Chitshot is just bringing the Palafin packs. If you guys don't know this team has been spam everywhere. Even the items. You look at these 6 and you know what everything is, even the terras for the most part. Hopefully there's a minor change, but yeah, this is just I don't want to call it boring, but it is boring.
Yeah, it's boring. It's boring.
Okay, Mirai, on the other hand, changed it a little bit, okay? Changed it a little bit with Qianpao and Hands. So, I mean, I think slightly looking in favor. It is Mirrors looking in favor of Mirai, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Bax is used because he's pretty good in the mirror. And especially this Bax is carrying a clear amulet. That is one of the 2 probably item choice for Baxcalibur right now. The other one is Loaded Dice. But in this case, I mean, that Baxcalibur has to be aware of Qianpao with Sacred Sword, and Arcanine with... No, sorry, and maybe Hands, but not that much, since Chitshot has got an Intimidate, and Floramain has got that Moonblast, but it depends on the Terra type of that Baxcalibur, since if it's Terra Poison, as we have seen Gavin Michaels run into in the OCIC. Just walls both threats, but I might be wrong, and that matchup could be favored for Mirai. And let's jump into the leads. And I think I noticed about these teams and like balance in general is that they dropped Iron Hands for Tinglu since they're 2 months that want to carry the Assault West. And I think Iron Hands is pretty underrated right now.
It's okay. It's just okay, to be honest. But we see Arcanine, Excalibur, and Among Us Palafin, which is very interesting. As a Palafin user, I don't really bring the Palafin in the mirror.
Yeah.
It almost feels like it, because I think I only brought it when it was like Gavin's original 6, because it puts you in such an awkward spot. They have Intimidate, and if they don't bring Palafin, like, you're both not, because you need to swap off the Palafin, which Mirai just did, right? Yeah. So it's kind of interesting right now, and the Mungus is just weird, but I expected an Arcanine coming in that spot.
Yeah, Arcanine is going to come in place of that Palafin that just wants to switch out since it was at -1 as well. And Buck's going for Protect as well as the Among Us, so it's probably going to be like null turn. Yeah, and this is Will-O-Wisp going onto that Arcanine switch in. And yeah, put in null turn, and Arcanine coming in to intimidate only that Arcanine from Chichot.
This is almost like that was the most boring turn 1 ever. Like, it's such an, I mean, it's the right turn 1, guys. Okay, yeah, mind you, but like, I mean, Mirai is my friend, so that's why I'm like roasting him a little bit more. But like now Mirai has to do, like, knows that the Among Us is gonna get totaled. Like, you have to tear that Among Us and go for the Spore into the Excalibur. Absolutely, that's what Mirai has to be doing, because if you don't do that, I don't think you survive the double up, depending on how well invested things are.
Yeah, and this is a third type, I think, for Mirai. Yeah, on that Among Us, as you said, and that is going to be Terra Water. So taking that resistance both to fire types and ice types attacks. And if Excalibur just stayed on the field, and if he went for Glade Brush, maybe he can deal some good damage onto that Among Us. Since Flare Blitz is going to boost that attack for the rest of Excalibur life on the field. And yeah, it is Glade Brush. And it's a +1, so this Among Us is just going down. And that's a wasted Terra type.
Mirai made a mistake. Mirai probably... Actually, all I can think of is that Mirai didn't think that Excalibur was that much slower.
I mean, that's...
I actually don't... I actually don't know my speeds on the Excalibur.
Okay.
But, like... Isn't Excalibur usually a little bit faster?
Yeah, Excalibur is naturally slower than Arcanine, and you should invest it quite a lot to be faster than an Arcanine, since there are many versions of Arcanines being run right now, and one is Jolly max speed, and the other one is like almost 0 speed, like maybe 44, I don't know, and yeah, it depends, but Excalibur is almost always slower, and I think he was expecting an ice move onto that Among Us, but if you're going for the double up, it just makes sense to go for Glade Brush. And this Arcanine is going to switch out after putting in that much work, boosting Excalibur. So not a great worker here, that Arcanine. And Ice Shard is going to... Ooh! That +1 Ice Shard just chunked that Flare Main a lot. And yeah, followed up by a Flare Blitz. So very, very bad position here for Mirai.
Oh, I was gonna say it's probably not a +1, it's neutral. Because remember oh wait, no, actually it's clear on it. Never mind. I'm on my turn for it. This language difference makes this really hard to sometimes follow. But yeah, I mean, I don't see Mirai. This is, you need a high roll Flare Blitz right now.
Yeah, but
or read the swap. Yeah.
Yeah, Chichat is going to play it very safe, unless a Flare Blitz comes out on his own Arcanine, and so on Amoonguss switching in. This is not going to be a game that Mirai can come back from. So this Excalibur, interestingly, does not carry Dragon Dance in the Clear Amulet set. So it's Glaive Rush and double Ice with Spear. Not Spear, sorry, Icicle Crash and Ice Shard. And Dragon Dance is an option that has been seen on this Clear Amulet set. So Chicha just chose not to go for it. And Protect here for that Excalibur, so no Wave Crash in this turn. And let's see if Flare Blitz came out. Yeah, it came out onto that Amoonguss, coming in, switching in place of that Arcanine. And it is going to bring it down to 44 HP, and thanks to the Citrus Berry, it's going to be a bit more, 99, yeah. Pretty good amount of health. Yeah, it can survive, I think, Wave Crash and Flare Blitz if it goes for the Terra Water.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good turn in general. For Chicha, like, he has the momentum right now. I mean, the Flare Blitz was pretty good into the Amoonguss, so it's still tricky, right? Like, what's stopping you from just Wave Crash doesn't KO. Oh, we see a swap. Okay,
yeah,
never mind.
Yeah.
This is
So he wants to bring those two to add -1, and wants to hinder the damage for both of those Pokemons as fast as possible. And yeah, I don't see any reason for Mirai not to double up the Excalibur.
into the Excalibur. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and that's what is happening right now. So maybe it's a bit of a call, since Amoonguss could have gone for a Spore into that Palafin in this turn, and he just ignored it. So in that point of view, yeah, it was a call. But Flare Mane here is just coming on the field, very strong with the Terra type available, and it's Fairy, so it's going to be pretty useful right now. And it's going to be even more useful if paired with Amoonguss.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, Chicha didn't use his Terra yet. He could have just Terra the Amoonguss if he was scared of the Flare Blitz. So that's a little awkward. I mean, Palafin should be able to jet. I do think Palafin probably jet punches Arcanine. Arcanine goes down.
Yeah.
That's 100. Even at -1, that's 100% in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then you saw, you guys noticed, but the Palafin went before the Arcanine from Mirai's side. So that means this is a faster Palafin that could actually out. I mean, you don't Wave Crash here. I think you always just still Jet Punch. But I think this is looking pretty favorable for Mirai back after like the design, because I mean, you're not Rage Powdering, you're just Pollen Puffing the Arcanine that I'm pretty sure is gonna go bye now.
Yeah, this Terra is going to keep this Amoonguss alive for the time being, and Arcanine for Mirai going for Protect. Ooh!
Oh wait, the taunt coming in, but here's the thing, that wasn't the right move though.
Yeah, and like,
see? Oh, he gets burned. He's faster.
I just don't know. Okay,
I don't know. That was.
I know taunt is good in the mirror, and people are dropping haze, probably after Jody tweeted about how stagnant Palafin's movesets are right now. And we know this is all a plan, since Jody is bringing Dondozo to UIC, but like, let's not talk about it. He's just a mastermind. And yeah, Taunt has been an option for Palafin, and it's just that good into Amoonguss, because Amoonguss is normally an answer to Palafin, but with Taunt, Palafin just stays on the field and counters it pretty well, since right now Palafin just threatens the KO onto that Arcanine, even if it's burned with Wave Crash. And that's more sure if Extreme Speed comes before that Wave Crash. And that's not... no, I just have to shut up, since it's at -1 and burned. So that's not enough.
And you just pull it... Oh, okay. I will have Pollen Puff my Arcanine again.
Yeah. Probably he wasn't sure about that damage. And he thought that extreme speed plus wave crash would have killed his own Arcanine, so he wasn't sure about this Pollen Puff into his own Arcanine. And who's in the back for Chitshot? Flowermane, right?
Yeah, Fluttermane.
So yeah, as one of his 2 Pokemons died, Flowermane just comes in and goes for Dazzling Gleam. So I think this is just a thing that they're doing for the content, like the most boring content ever, but they're doing it for the content.
Yeah, I mean, Mirai almost brought it back. It was that one turn where, like, I don't know. I think, like, unless he didn't notice the speeds, because I feel like you could have guessed, oh, I'm faster than Chichot's Arcanine potentially, because you know how fast your own Arcanine is, right? So he could, and I still think he should have just gone for the potential Jet Punch, too. But
And this is a forfeit on Mirai's side, so Chichot bringing home the first game, and yeah, I don't know how we ended up in that situation, since I think Chichot handled the early game very well, and then Mirai somehow was looking like he
almost
won
brought
that
it back,
game. Yeah, and I think that came into play just because Chichot played that turn in a very awkward way. That turn where he could have gone for the Tar type on Palafin, you know.
yeah. Yeah, it's very awkward, and in general, though, I mean, if he had missed the Will-O-Wisp, like if Chichot had missed with the Will-O-Wisp, then Mirai could still have won.
Yeah.
So it really came out to that. But now Mirai knows his Palafin is faster than the Arcanine. So the only thing that scares Mirai is, like, you know, Ice Shard from Excalibur, which your Flutter survives, and then the rest, like, eat it. Because I see Mirai probably just... You probably, unless you get rid of the Excalibur early enough, you probably oh my god, I was gonna say Dynamax. You tear them because most of the time. And then
for Dynamax.
Here's the thing too. Chichot didn't reveal that his last one was Flutter, and I don't think there was a way for. Well, actually, there was ways for I will have, like, KO the Arcanine just to see the back of Chichot. Like, knowing what it might affect things potentially. I don't know. I like knowing what my opponent brought. Even if I'm not gonna win. So very interesting of, like, Mirai just saying, like, nope. But at the same time, I mean, he knows. I think Mirai also knows what he has to do, because he almost won that even with, like, the misplays.
Yeah, and we see that Mirai is pretty confident about that Palafin. So you said you don't bring Palafin in the mirror, and I kind of agree, especially if you're against Baxcalibur. And in this case, Mirai just goes with it in the second game as well. And same leads for both players.
Yeah, which is funny because the other game we had also, they kept doing the same thing, and usually same thing. It's not a bad thing, right? Like, you could go more aggressive this time. Yeah, I mean, please tell me you double. Chicho double into that Mungots is over.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not sure why.
I'm not sure why either, I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of a little weird.
And yeah, so double attack, just going to deal no damage. And this turn is completely useless. I don't know. I like the thrill of these double protects.
They're torturing us, Chad. That's what they're doing. It's because we said this is a boring match, but, like, I mean, it's kind of boring.
Yeah, and I have to correct myself, since it doesn't have Icicle Crash. This Baxcalibur has Icicle Spear, even if it's not carrying a loaded dice. So I'm not sure about this either. Like, there are a lot of things I'm not sure about in this game. And it's just uncanny, but yeah, he just doesn't want to miss, and probably usually goes for the Dragon type, and does not want to go for the Ice type that often, and if he goes for it, it doesn't want to miss it. And we see a replay of turn 1, of the previous game. But the Among Us cannot protect right now, which it did in the first game, I think. And we see a Terra type, probably the Among Us, to handle these two Pokemons on the field for Chichot. And this time, Baxcalibur is not as +1 because it didn't take a Flare Blitz.
Yeah, I mean, this time, technically, the Among Us... albeit, okay, if there's no crits, this Among Us shows...
There is a burn.
Okay, he gets burned instead,
and
but
this
it's
is actually useful for Mirai, since it cannot be spored.
That is very true. If Among Us, for some reason, came, it definitely helps. And, Barry gets proc, as we saw. Which out the +1, the Baxcalibur, Glaive Rush doesn't. And we see the Spore. That should have happened probably last turn, in my opinion, but that, you know, that's my take. So now the burn kind of working in favor, especially if Chicho brought Among Us, which we can see that he did bring Among Us, by the way.
Yeah, same for.
So I mean, it's still pretty looking good. It's not the end of the world. It's just I don't think I agree with Among Us in the back this time. Wait, actually no, he did bring the Among Us last time. I think this is pretty even. It's just you need the Baxcalibur to start KOing things.
Yeah, and that's probably what we're going to see unless that Among Us goes for a protect. And I mean, if you go for this play, you just want to reposition. And okay, Among Us does not protect. It wants to get that regenerator HP. And Palafin coming in for Mirai with that 0 to hero. And it's okay, yeah. I just kind of forgot about Baxcalibur sleeping, and that's probably because I'm sleeping too. So Palafin and Fluttermane coming in for free. And the Among Us actually is pretty solid right now.
So here's the tricky part is that thankfully I think you need you just Spore.
Yeah.
No, I will have to go for the Spore. You need to put something to sleep, my friend.
Yeah.
I mean, the Pollen Pump is not bad, but realistically speaking, you rather just put you play the sleeping game.
Yeah, and this Pollen Puff is going to be useful pretty much only if this Baxcalibur wakes up. Because if it doesn't, you're just healing a sleeping slot. So is that going to be that worth? I mean, it's going to take this pretty well, thanks to that Terra type poison. But Pollen Puff here, he's probably because he's afraid of Taunt, and that's the choice for Mirai. So Pollen Puff here actually going to do something in this turn that Spore wouldn't have done. At least Spore would have forced that Palafin to go for Taunt, and like it would have punished an attack in this turn. But we have seen that Chichot went for Ice Shard in the previous turn. I'm not sure why. Like, if Baxcalibur woke up, it wouldn't have done a lot of damage to that Fluttermane.
Yeah, I'm so, so confused right now. I'm glad this is like a chill kind of casting, because guys, I don't know what the poor casters, okay? Poor casters are confused, but they will have, because it's a professional stream.
Yeah, this is a professional stream. 100%.
This is totally. Oh man, this is so accurate. Oh goodness gracious. How is this gonna change?
This is not going to change, I think. We are going to feel awkward. Even okay, that was a crit. Yeah, onto that Baxcalibur. And okay, Wave Crash is not going to pick that KO thanks to the Intimidate, and Baxcalibur wakes up going for Icicle Spear. Fluttermane has to take like 4 or 5, and it's just 2. So that's kind of why you go for Crash if you are not loaded dice, because Icicle Spear might just be a 50 base power move, and that's not what you want to see.
No, just let the Baxcalibur go. Come on, just let the Baxcalibur go, Chicho. No, just let it go. But see, this is why I do think I do not understand why. Oh wait, yeah, it's just very unfortunate. I will have done Glaive Rush into the Palafin.
In this
Wouldn't
turn?
that have made more instead of
previous one.
the
Okay,
icing? Yeah, right. Like it just feels weird because you're hoping for RNG to
Yeah, and
so-
if that Icicle Spear went for... Oh my god, that's another critical hit.
Okay.
But like if Icicle Spear went for at least 3 hits, Ice Shard would have killed that Flutter Mane. But there is
But
the
doesn't Jet Punch?
Yeah,
Yeah, Jet Punch will have gone first though. Yeah, that's the thing.
and yeah, that's kind of the issue with going for Icicle Spear. So maybe damaging that Palfin to... I think it would have brought it to like 10%, maybe, the Glaive Rush. Maybe,
Yeah, so because then you can stream speed it instead.
yeah, exactly. And maybe that would have been better. But here, Arcanine and Among Us are going to try their best, since that Floramain is, I think, locked on
into Dazzling.
Yeah,
I think it's luck into Dazzling. I don't know if I like this play.
No, especially because Fluttermane is just going to switch out, and this is going to... Yeah, it's going to be the Among Us that, being burned, is going to be immune to that Spore. And maybe we are going to see Protect for that Palafin, since...
It's a Protect or Taunt.
Yeah, and if it's either of them... Okay, it's Wave Crash, and Chitchat went for Self Pollen Puff, so it is not going to be effective. And I think Mirai just understood how Chitchat plays against that Palafin. He just went for a side Pollen Puff twice in front of Palafin, so Mirai just went for an attack in this turn, and that paid off.
Yeah, man, it's that. Imagine if it was just a taunt instead. But yeah, I think it helped a lot that it was, you got to figure out how to, and this is looking way in favor now of Mirai. So very well jumped, because it just like the last game, it's like minor things you do back and forth, and then you get the one turn raid, and it's just a lot like stressful now.
Yeah. And here actually, Fluttermane is pretty free to go for any attack that he wants to, since Mirai's Among Us is going to be affected by this Rage Powder. So that's a thing that Chitchat probably considered during the planning of these turns. And Mirai here cannot go for side Pollen Puff and cannot go for Spore as well. We see that Spore being redirected onto Chitchat Among Us, and that Terra type for Mirai is just playing in favor of Chitchat, and that's an interesting mechanic that we see here.
Yeah, it's just like so funny. It would be funnier if it wasn't burned though, because you have slept the Among Us too.
Yeah.
Potentially. I mean, yes, there's the taunt, but like any turn that you're wasting, trying to go for a taunt instead of an attack, it's pretty in favor. And I mean, the way Chicha has been playing too is like, I think he is very scared of the taunt, which I understand. It's a little bit more frustrating.
Yeah, I just don't know if I would have switched that Among Us right now, since Palafin didn't go for taunt in the previous turn, and you could have just left that Among Us on the field for one more turn to go for that Rage Powder. But yeah, it kind of is a great move, since it probably predicted Mirai to go for this play. Yeah, Arcanine in place of that Among Us, and Protect for Palafin. Doesn't want to take any damage in this turn, and manages to, since Arcanine comes in and does not take that Shadow Ball, and that is going to go into that Protect for Palafin. So both Arcanines on the field, but only Chitchat Arcanine is intimidated.
Yeah, this is really looking like, oh my goodness gracious. Okay, it's still kind of like boring, but at least it's the good boring. As in, I like the board positioning from both players, calling out each other. I think that makes it more exciting. But my goodness gracious, this is going slow.
Yeah, I don't know how people are willing to play like matches like this for 9 rounds in a row when you bring it to a regional or to... I hope no one brings this to UIC, but it's going to probably be at least 100 people. And anyways, Palafin is switching out, and Amoonguss is just dead, coming in an extreme speed, and Shadow Ball double up into that slot. So it's a dead Mushroom right now, and Flare Blitz, ooh, with the critical hit. And I think Mirai just like crit 4 moves in this game.
Yeah, I mean, the initial ones didn't... Maybe the Excalibur one mattered a tiny little bit.
Yeah.
Just a tiny. The other one on the Among Us, I didn't think it mattered. This one, I'm trying to remember if on last game it... I think this crit might have... I mean, if there's no bulk, it doesn't matter. But I feel like the Flutter survived last game.
Yeah, Flurman had 151 HP. That should be like 164 EVS. Should be.
I mean, it's still like very like, I mean, okay, in hindsight, the crit doesn't matter because you still have, even if you survive, you're in jet punch range.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, so the crits in this game overall didn't really matter, but it's just salt on the one, you know? It's like...
Yeah.
Chicho wasn't playing bad. And, I mean, Mira wasn't even playing bad either, but, like, just seeing that little crit, just like, annoying type of deal.
Yeah, it just made the game faster. Thanks God, I would say.
But yeah, I mean, I think Chicho played that pretty well, and so did Mirai. I think the positioning from Mirai came in a lot better. It'd be interesting if both of them... I mean, I think Chicho doesn't change what he brings. I think he brought the right 4, in my opinion. Yeah. Mirai, on the other hand, I mean, now that we know, right, that the Palafin is taunt, that's probably why he keeps ringing the Palafin.
Yeah.
Because I think the Palafin wasn't taunt. Hands will come more.
You just don't bring... Yeah. Hands is pretty good, especially if it's Terra type grass. Yep. I think it's very good since it can hit that Excalibur, and it can hit it pretty well even if it Terras, since Wild Charge just deals damage, even if it's neutral. Like, obviously Drain Punch or Close Combat just deal naturally more damage to Excalibur, but Wild Charge is not a bad move if Excalibur Terras, and so isn't that Wave Crash, obviously, but Wave Crash can be redirected. And that's a bad thing when you play Palafin and when it's your main damage dealer that you're bringing. And Flower Main just doesn't deal that much damage to Excalibur if there is the Amoonguss, so we're talking about the same stuff. Because he's forced to go for Dazzling Gleam, kinda. And Shadow Ball just does not deal damage if there is Amoonguss on the field to the Pokemon that is on the side of Amoonguss. And yeah, Mirai changes lead.
I mean, I like this lead from Mirai. I mean, Amoonguss was nice, but it forced you to Terra early, and it's a little weird. So now, I mean, now you're forcing Chicho to Terra early, and I like that. Because now Chichi is forced to play the little, am I gonna hit enough of my attacks to KO?
Yeah. Flower Main, very, very offensive adjustment for Mirai in this lead of Game 3. And as you said, probably Chichot is forced to go for a Terra type in this turn 1, unless it goes for Protect on Excalibur and just goes for Flare Blitz onto that Flower Main. And that might be a problem if this isn't Amoonguss coming in for a Palafin, and it is Arcanine. So if Flare Blitz came out for Chichot's Arcanine into that Flower Main, we might see Ice Shard killing next turn, but Arcanine just switched out, and that's Amoonguss on the wrong on the wrong side of the field, in my opinion. And here Excalibur going for a Terra type actually is going to be a very defensive play. And if Mirai just called this out and went for Shadow Ball, this Terra type would have been pretty much wasted. And it is.
Yeah.
It is a Shadow Ball.
Goodness.
Ooh, and that's a lot of damage. Spear, once again.
That's Vex. Okay, are you gonna hit more than one?
Nah, 2 once again.
I mean, I don't want to call it early, but
yeah, just say it.
I mean, this looks very favorable now for Mirai.
Yeah, and Chicho just has to make some calls in this position right now. And Protect on the Among Us is one of those calls I'm talking about. And just I don't know if bringing in Arcanine is the right choice.
Yeah, like you kind of wanna eye-shard and hope you eye-shard crit.
I would just like predict if Mirai is going to double up onto that Among Us or not. And if he's not going for that double up, you protect the Excalibur and support the Flower Mane. And if he's going for the double up onto Among Us, you protect and Spear or a Glaive Rush. But this is like a play in the middle that you usually don't want to go for. And yeah, Shadow Ball is coming out onto this Arcanine. And and it's 2-hit KO. Okay. And okay, that's very, very heavy issue for Chichat right now.
Yeah, this probably was the worst possible thing. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe protecting the Excalibur turn 1 will have been a little bit better, so you didn't commit to the Terra, so you could see what Flutter is locking itself in. And then yeah, I think the middle play was the right. The middle play, when you think about it, is like the safer play, but if it's the wrong, like if your opponent calls you out, then it's just like you should have just gone at full aggro.
Yeah, but like the middle play is usually that play that you say, yeah, it's safe, but it's kind of the worst play you can go for, because it doesn't cover any of your opponent's option. And this Shadow Ball not rocking the Citrus Berry is actually very, very bad.
That's so bad. Yeah, that's so bad.
That's very bad for Chichat, since this Flare Blitz is now going to pick up the KO, I believe. And
sure.
Yeah, and it is the case. So for 5 HP, Citrus Berry did not proc on this Among Us, and it just stayed at 52, 55, I don't know, percent of its HP. And yeah, Flare Blitz just going to kill, and that Intimidate didn't matter.
Yeah, now everything is just Jet Punch range, bro.
Yeah, with the Among Us being dead, the Palafin is just free to go crazy right now. And Arcanine 76 HP, Excalibur 97, neither of this is going to be enough for this endgame. And yeah, I mean, we are already talking about endgame, and it's turn 4? But yeah,
I like how the first 2 games were so slow, and then we come and everything is pretty much decided, almost like 90% decided in the turn 1, and then still in the turn 2.
Yeah, they were so kind to help us and not leave this suffering for game 3. So let's see. I have seen Chichat coming back from worse positions, but this is just looking unbearable for him. And let's see if it's just going to prove us wrong. So that Arcanine for Mirai is just going in the back, and Among Us is coming out. This Wave Crash is going onto Excalibur, and that's, in my opinion, the correct move, since you're just going to attack what you're sure to be faster than. So Wave Crash picking up the KO, and Flower Mane, he kind of has to go for a miracle. Like
I don't know.
Shadow Ball crate drop in every Pokemon.
But yeah, no, this is very unfortunate.
Yeah, that's a forfeit. Okay.
Yeah, and Chicha notes like, oh, yeah, there's no way I'm coming back. He needed Mirai to misplay, for example, like way crash into the Arcanine instead, and then hope that Glaive Rush KO.
Yeah.
I think the Glaive Rush probably could have picked up the KO, given that it's probably a little less bulky. So I think that was the play Chicho was hoping Mirai will do. Is like, hey, you're gonna go for my Arcanine, otherwise I'm gonna Will-O-Wisp you.
I think...
but like Mirai is like, no, you're not gonna do that, or like Mirai just didn't care because I think that Wave Crash KOs the Excalibur regardless. Pretty sure.
Yeah, but I think the most reliable win condition for Chitshot in this situation was just a Meteor on Mirai's home, and that's very unlikely to happen. So
yeah,
if Mirai stays alive, he wins that game. And yeah, so with this loss for Chitshot, we have to like analyze what the playoffs are going to look like. Because actually, I don't know that. I have to check my chat with Duckbomb. He sent me like a graph that I invested like 4 hours to understand, and it's like a grade 3 for 3. So
that chart, I was so confused.
I just
oh my
watched
god,
it, and I was...
didn't. I mean, I could just tell you who is in playoffs.
But if I just try to guess it, it would be probably more entertaining. So Blizzards and Samurais locked the playoffs in the previous week, right?
Yes, that is indeed correct.
Then current week, Detectives just won, since Mirai won this match, and they were 4-1.
Yep.
And Cruisers won. So this should not be that difficult. It should be Detectives and Cruisers, right?
Correct. That is correct.
Let's go. And yeah, so playoffs are looking like this right now. Blizzards are second, right? Or
yes, because we won.
Let's go.
Cruisers couldn't surpass us on score. So good job, Blizzards. No bias at all.
Yeah.
Good job.
And so Samurais, Blizzards, then Cruisers third, and Detectives fourth. So is it like a normal Swiss? So Samurais against Detectives, and Blizzards against Cruisers. Okay.
That is correct.
So this is going to be not the next week, but the one after, since there is going 1 week break for the UIC. I think it's for the UIC, or is it just...
Yes, it's just for the UIC.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure people have just gone straight, and people probably will have prefer, because I mean, it's like just...
Yeah, it breaks the tempo.
Yeah, it breaks the tempo.
And yeah, Samurai is undefeated right now, so they are 7 wins, 2 ties, and 0 losses. So unfortunately, Blizzards are going to kick their asses in the finals. So I just... I'm just not sure why they keep playing, but yeah. And I hope we are going to be streaming at least 4 matches for the semifinals. And I would like to stream the whole finals, but I know it will be impossible. So I'll just do my best. But yeah, so for now we are just going to log off, I think. So thank you for following, and see you in London for whoever is going to go to London. And have a good UIC. Hopefully you lose if you are paired against me. Since I do not have a team, so I don't know. But yeah, thank you for following, guys, and thank you, Easy, for being here.
Thank you for the invite. I appreciate it.
And see you. Bye.
See ya.